Hello everybody, Symbiotic Toss here today to continue our playthrough of DMC Devil May Cry Vergil's Downfall. That's Vergil's heart, by the way. I skipped that cutscene. um, so last time we continued to skip cutscenes, so we don't really have any sort of story we're going for here, because the story would be largely spoilers for the main game. And I don't want to, I don't want to rob anyone's enjoyment of the masterpiece of a story that is DMC Devil May Cry. So we're just gonna skip these cutscenes. I mean, parts of it will inevitably be spoiled since this is a sequel DLC. But it should be fine, you know? So anyways, last time we got Rising Star, which is incredibly useful for taking groups of enemies into the air. And we also got Vergil's classic, Judgment Cut. And that is something I really need to compare, because original Vergil could charge a Judgment Cut and still move around. And it was super handy, you know, because you could have it charged, you could dodge something, and then you could Judgment Cut. That's not something Reboot Vergil can do. And it's absolutely ridiculous. Because, you know, it's something you get used to doing because it's part of so many combos for Vergil. That's like, why can't I do this? You know, it's just such a trademark ability. And like I said, I was going to be getting, upgrading my other thing, and then I just completely decided not to. My Rapid Slash. So, actually, this is a wonderful time to talk about the things that you can tell DMC4 and 5 Vergil had based on this game. One of them, I won't be able to get into as much detail because we haven't unlocked the ability yet, but he did it in the boss fight. And the final boss fight of fuck that, spoilers, oh well. He's done it in the base game, but we'll talk about that later. Anyways, the big thing that you can tell is DMC4 Vergil and this Vergil have the same combo in the air. Like, the same 3-hit combo with Yamato, which is, you know, it's nice, and Reboot Vergil fights enough like main Vergil to where it makes sense that they would have similar moves. So it's not like, you know, super weird as if Dante, you know, if mainline Dante suddenly couldn't do round trip with Rebellion anymore. Because that's just odd. I got sidetracked. So that combo, Crosscut, Vergil's combo A with Yamato is largely based on that in DMC4. The only difference is the final part, which is the same if you're in Devil Trigger, but very different if you're in your base form. Because if you're in your base form, then Vergil does the 2 slashes, and then he, okay, I'll demonstrate. He does that, and then that's just the entirety of it. But if you're in Devil Trigger, since Vergil has both of his hands free when he's in Devil Trigger mode, he does the full combo, which is very nice, except Vergil in the mainline does a more powerful version of it. Because, you know, mainline Vergil's more powerful anyway. And then the big one, now that I have a third move to mention, is Rising Star. You know, that DMC4 Vergil has that exact same move, but he can't do it out of a normal combo, or he can't do it out of nothing like that. He can only do it when he's out of a Rapid Slash, so he, like, does the Rapid Slash and then ends it with that. Which it's not a huge difference, it's just, you know, it's kind of a neat detail that they did take so many Reboot Vergil moves and use it as a basis for what turned out to be the best version of Vergil so far. I can get on some rants about Devil May Cry, just because it's something I've played so much in, and so much of, that it's just, you know, it's very near and dear to my heart, man. And since I skipped the intro cutscene, this is your first time figuring out, we're chasing Hollow Dante. This mission is to hunt down this... I don't know why I did that. Our mission is to hunt down that fake ghost like Dante. As Vergil's saying, he's hunting them down. But I keep skipping cutscenes because I'm a pro. And man, does it feel awkward getting in the swing of things again. Oof. Fuck. So, I guess this is some great time for some or for some viewer enjoyment. What do you guys think of Devil May Cry 5 Vergil? I knew it was inevitable that there would be a special edition that included Vergil, just because that's the trend they follow. What the fuck is that? Oh, never mind. Just because that's the common trend. But I gotta say, I am extremely excited, and the producer of the game, I want to say his name is Matt Walker. I don't know. Anyways, he low-key implied that Vergil's gonna have multiple weapons, because during that really disappointing stream where they only showed 15 seconds of Vergil gameplay, he talked about that he mentioned that they wouldn't be able to show much of Vergil's weapons, plural. So that got me pretty excited, because he wouldn't have said weapons, plural, if Vergil had a single weapon. I'm just gonna wait for someone to come at me. Yeah, oh fuck. I tried to be cool, you know. That seems to be a general trend with things, though. You know, it's like, fuck, I tried to be cool. Oh well. Better luck next time. It's definitely kind of, you know, it's kind of cool doing another solo run of something, because it's not something I do very often, you know. Obviously, you guys know, you're my viewers, and, like, the past, I don't know, I want to say it's probably in the 20s, but the past, like, X amount of videos have been not solo, and this is the longest I've ever consistently uploaded videos to YouTube. Because I am a fan of doing it with my friends. Make of that as you will. Oh, so one thing this Vergil does have over main Vergil is the fact that he can use Yamato in different styles. So he can use this very intense striking mode, this very heavy strike mode, to focus on staggering enemies. Which is, you know, something normal Vergil doesn't really have. He just has his normal badassery. Oh, hey, I got Summon Sword back. You know, I bitched about tutorials in the first part, so I turned them off for every subsequent part, and then me turning it off made it so that I just completely didn't realize I had a really cool ability back. Anyways, now that we know I can do badassery with my spiral swords, let us... Well, cutscene. Kinda wish I would've realized sooner, you know? God, Vergil, you have some aggression towards Dante. It's almost like he stabbed you or something. It's almost like he's the reason you're stuck in hell. I don't know. That's just a little shot in the dark there. I didn't skip that. I'm selective when it comes to doing what I said I'm gonna do. I don't know, that sounds worse than it. I meant it to. I'm generally good on my promises, I just didn't think. I was like, oh fuck, this is cool. Watching Vergil beat the shit out of Dante. So yeah, sometimes I forget that I'm supposed to be commentating, but this is something I love about spiral swords. You know, you can pull an enemy towards you, and then they just have to fucking eat facefuls of sword, because you have it set. Basically, it's cool. One thing that instantly attracted me to playing as Vergil was the fact that Vergil is a character where, when played right, you can beat hordes of enemies while just standing still. you know, just using spiral swords, just using blistering swords, you know, heavy rain swords, all that shit you can use to make Vergil kill hordes of enemies while standing completely still. In fact, in Devil May Cry 3, I did my own personal challenge to see just how much of the game I could take on while only doing fights standing completely still. And it didn't work out too well for bosses, but dude, it worked out so well for everything else. Because Vergil's, especially in 3, he's an absolute powerhouse to make up for the fact that he has, like, no moves. So it was easier than it sounds. Sorry, I got sidetracked again. This is what I'm talking about. Vergil's downfall, I like it because, you know, it's cool to play Vergil, especially reboot Vergil, the one character who, while not as cool as original Vergil, he's still at least a character. I like this DLC because, you know, I get to play as my favorite Devil May Cry character, kind of. But I definitely disagree with how they do enemies. Because they seem to think, oh yeah, that one invisible guy, he's kind of difficult. Let's just fucking throw tons of them at him and see if he can beat them. And I mean, at first it's challenging because those guys, you know, you gotta, especially if you don't realize you can only hit them when they have a summon sword embedded in them. So it can be a little challenging, you know? But once you realize that, it's just repetitive as shit to fight them. Because it's not like they have that much to them as enemies. Okay, you are being a mean butt, and I don't appreciate it. I'm getting used to the not really being able to dodge cancel out of things. Dodge canceling is so useful. This game needs more of it, because, you know, there's so many things Vergil does that he just cannot cancel out of. Such as crosscut. I didn't know if they're in range, so that's why I awkwardly paused. And you'll notice I tend to use trick to get around. Like, I tend to trick left and right and shit to get around. That's because I'm not used to Vergil being able to move otherwise. I'm not used to Vergil having a straight up trickster dash like he does in this game. I'm used to Vergil, you know, the most convenient way to move between enemies is trick. I'm not really even used to trick being meant to dodge. I'm used to trick just being Vergil's way to get around in DMC3, because that's actually the game I play the most. So that's kind of why I tend to trick around instead of doing things the proper way. I feel like I kind of wasted that spiral sword there. Because, you know, I kind of did it right when that guy was shielding, so it was like, well, shit. So that is the official pro gamer way to take those guys out. Because, you know, they're annoying, and they can take a lot of hits, but if you just knock them off the ledge, you're all good. It is weird how you can't, like, knock an enemy off an edge by attacking them normally. You have to, like, launch them into the air, and then it'll let them fall off. Just kind of a little quirk of this game, I guess. You know, there was something, and I'm recording this part immediately after the last one, there was something I wanted to talk about, but I absolutely cannot remember it. And as I was explaining that I just can't remember what I wanted to talk about, I actually remembered it for a split second. Oh, yeah! The elephant in the room. The fact that at least there should be, no sound effects. That is because my fucking, like, the sound effects are so ungodly loud that in my part 1, I had the sound effects on the lowest they could possibly be, and the sound of Yamato would still overpower my voice, so I was like, okay, we're just gonna not have any sound, I guess. Seems like the way to go. I mean, it's, you know, because I assume when you're watching my videos, you wanna hear my voice. Because I can say some funny shit, especially when I'm just awkwardly like, motherfucker, what am I doing? As you can see, I'm not big on exploring stages all the way through. I'll probably do like a playthrough of maybe on the hardest difficulty with a maxed out Vergil or something like that, but that's a much later thing. Anyways, we already have enough for our first health cross, or our second health cross. So I'm trying to decide between health or Devil Trigger cross. That wasn't actually that tough of a decision. So next move, I think it would be good if we leveled up Aerial Rave, because that's a big thing, and Spiral Sword, because I used the shit out of that. Alrighty, so this has been part 3 of my Vergil's Downfall playthrough. Next time we will take on Mission 4, Heartless. See you guys then.